Hi everyone, my name is Madison and I'm about to show you the Behringer XENYX UFX1204 professional level audio console with multi-track to USB recording capabilities. And I'm not gonna talk through absolutely everything, but I'm gonna talk about how I'm using it in my home recording project. We are not only recording to a laptop, but we are also streaming live on Twitch simultaneously. So I'm gonna talk about how we do that. First, these 4 channels, they all have microphone inputs and they have phantom power. That's what this plus 48 volts button does. So you can use a really nice condenser microphone with these channels, or you can use a regular microphone and just leave that power off. These first 2 inputs have a special instrument line input that has a high impedance button, this green button right here. So you could, for instance, connect an electric guitar or an electric bass directly to that input without an amplifier, and it would sound pretty good. Just those first 2 inputs have that. The other 2 with the microphone just have a regular instrument line input. And then we have these 4 channels over here that you can use either as 4 stereo inputs, or you can separate those channels and have 8 different channels. And you could use that for something like a keyboard that has a stereo output. So just moving down from top to bottom, first we have the gain, so you turn up the volume or down, and then we have this send button. So for instance, I'm not going to use this, but if I were using this for a live music situation and also wanted to record the live music, I could decide whether I want to send the signal to my computer to record before it goes through this comp and EQ and all this other stuff, or after. So I could keep the pure unmodified signal from my computer and have a nice EQ comp signal that goes out into the venue, but I'm not going to use that. These first 4 channels that have the microphones also have comp, built-in compression, so that your vocalists can sound a little bit, you can squish the dynamic levels so that they're a little bit easier to understand, easier to listen to, and you can hear everything that they do. And then these first 4 channels also have some kind of special EQ. So they have high, mid, and low, but this one right here that's kind of a brighter blue, you can actually change the range of the frequency that is your mid-range, which is pretty cool. Now over here on the 4 stereo channels, instead of having that, you just have 4 channel EQ. So high, high mid, and low. And then of course down here you have your EQ on and off button. So you can just really quickly choose to add it or not. These red knobs are auxiliary and the orange knobs are special effects. There's a whole panel of special effects over here. All kinds of fun reverb and things like that. I'll be exploring that, but I haven't used it very much yet, so I won't go too far into it. Down here we have the black knob, which is balance. You can just pan left and right, super simple. And then your basic mute button, so if you want to mute a single channel. Solo button if you want to hear just that one channel. And then obviously your volume sliders here. There are a couple other really cool things that this console does that I probably won't be using, but if you wanted to, for instance, there's a built-in microphone, so you could, if you had a separate recording room, you could hook up a way to talk back to the artists in a separate room, things like that. Over here obviously is your main mix volume, and some buttons to control which signals are being sent where. So that's the basics of how it works, and I'm just going to talk through how we have cabled it so that we're getting our outputs and inputs where we want them. The first output that we're using is this USB output right here, and notice there's a switch. You need to switch it over to the USB side, and that goes to a regular USB connection that I put in the computer that I'm recording in, and that's what allows me to have multi-track recording. So I can get every single track separately into my audio workstation and play with it. We also have a separate output that goes to the streaming computer. This is a stereo XLR cable And that's what takes all of the audio that comes through the console to the streaming computer. Not only the instruments and microphones, but also what comes through the USB connection from my computer. So for instance, if I am mixing tracks on my computer and the audio is being generated by the computer, that actually gets sent through this XLR cable to our streaming computer, which is really great. Over here we have two different headphone outputs. So they receive the same signal, but if you have two people who want to listen on separate headphones, they can do that, which is really cool. And then we have just one more thing that we want to share, which is a way that you can use this console to listen to audio from a PlayStation. So the problem is the high quality audio from a PlayStation has an optical output, and this console does not have an optical input. So what you need to make it work is a box like this that is a digital to analog audio converter. On one side you'll put in the optical cable from your PlayStation. On the other side you need a stereo RCA cable, and you can connect that to the RCA input here that says CD tape on top. That will make it work. That will make it come through the console. And another way you can do that, if you have a 1/4 inch, I'm just going to pull this out, a 1/4 inch stereo cable that either it goes directly to RCA or it can go to a normal audio output that you can then connect to an RCA like this. Then you can have it come through one of these stereo channels, and it can go through all the EQ and effects and things like that if you want to put some effects on your PlayStation output, sound output. So that is the Behringer XENYX UFX1204. We're going to be using it for our home recording and streaming, and I'm super excited to get started with it. Thanks for watching.